A little while ago, I'd say about 2 weeks ago, I was fortunate enough to go into Boston to celebrate the Boston Tea Party. That was an event that happened many years ago when the people in this part of the country didn't like the fact that they were taxed without representation, that they started feeling the tyranny of this, great regal power called England. And so what they did was they turned around and threw the tea from the East India Tea Company, I believe, into the drink in Boston Harbor. Well, I found out that there were some people there that were actually questioning the 9/11 Commission report, and that their intent was, on this anniversary of the Tea Party, was to take the 9/11 Commission report and throw it into the drink also, saying that it had no value and maybe we should really find out what's going on. So as part of the real story, I went to investigate.
Thank you for coming down to Faneuil Hall. This is Daniel Haffney. Yes, I'm here with my patriotic eyes so that I could spend time with you and show you what some patriots here in America are actually doing. 9/11 was an inside job, and that the 9/11 Commission report probably should spend its time in the drink. Yes, we're going to go chuck it in the drink, kind of like the tea. We're going to walk around and meet some people. We're also going to march. We're going to throw some 9/11 Commission reports into the drink. Why? Because we think they omitted data.
Whereas the current administration blocked and delayed for 441 days any investigation into 9/11. Whereas the 9/11 Commission made no effort to determine guilt, no effort at all, and said so, said it was not their mandate, that the 9/11 Commission made no attempt at legal accountability. From the outset, the 9/11 Commission assumed the truth of the official conspiracy theory that is a tissue of lies, that it was supposed to officially investigate, and ignored, distorted, and suppressed all testimony, evidence, and suspects that did not fit its predetermined conclusion, making a mockery of its self-stated mandate to, quote, provide the fullest possible account of the events surrounding 9/11. The 9/11 Commission Executive Director himself, Philip Zellica, has acknowledged that he is an expert in the creation and maintenance of public mythologies, which the 9/11 Commission, his product, is one. A number of official story hijackers trained at U.S. military bases. The plane into tower military exercises on 9/11, not even mentioned in the report. Why was Bush just sitting in the classroom? Karl Rove himself has said on national TV he was waiting for the drill to be over. Whereas the 9/11 Commission failed to investigate and completely left out of its report any mention of World Trade Center 7, which, though hit by no plane or any significant debris, collapsed at a near free-fall speed on 9/11, similar to World Trade Centers 1 and 2, all three buildings in classic controlled demolition that requires at least 2 weeks, if not more, of pre-placing explosives in a building to which Al-Qaeda, in quotes, could never have had such sustained access.
We hope that you will recognize the association of patriots and truth as opposed to traitors and lies, and these terms are not interchangeable. To be clear, though, it is only fair to help define patriot. By definition, it is one who loves, supports, and defends one's own country. The heroic participation of many colonists during the American Revolution gives us our other best examples of what a patriot is.
It's a country for the people, not for the government. And that the government serves the people, not the people serving the government. So anyway, I did a couple shows. I did one on money, okay, and the foundation of money, where money came from, fiat money, how that when, many times in history people have made paper fiat currencies, that the values actually went down and it was a way to enslave the people and steal from them their wealth. And then I followed it up with a show on the Federal Reserve. And I said, well, gee, here we have a private banking cartel. Not that I want to take all this, but anyway. And I went over that in my second show. So can you tell us what you know and what you feel and maybe why you're here?
Well, I don't like the Federal Reserve System because it's all based on a fiat currency with a fractional reserve banking system. And fractional reserve banking was started by the goldsmiths hundreds of years ago. And what they would do is everybody'd have all this gold and they'd have nowhere to put it because, you know, somebody might steal it.
And you'd have to have armed guards if you want to keep it in your house, right? Because if you had all that gold, you need somebody to protect it.
Yeah, exactly. You'd have somebody coming in and, you know, killing you and taking your gold. So they take it to the goldsmiths. And then they found out that the goldsmiths figured, well, they're not taking out all the gold, I can just take this gold and loan it to somebody else at interest. So, you know, you have all the gold in the village, you know, you start loaning out at interest, pretty soon you're going to own the entire village. And you're going to be making money out of nothing, it's going to cause a lot of inflation. So now, fast forward, now we have the Federal Reserve System, which was based on that, because everybody takes their money, puts it in a 10% reserve, and then they loan out the other 90%. And you know, this is a horrible idea because it's going to cause massive inflation. You can just look at it right now. The Federal Reserve stopped publishing the M3 monetary aggregate, which doesn't make any sense. The reason why they did it, and you can find this on Fed.gov, it's March 31st, they said it's too expensive to figure it out.
Interesting. So that the thing that we could maybe look at as a number, this M3 would tell us how much money they've created.
Yeah.
Which would basically tell us how little our money is going to buy in the future, because the more money they create, what happens to the dollars that I have in my wallet?
Well, what happens is that when you're printing currency, and right now they figured out it's at about a 12% rate, somebody reconstructed it, and if you have, like, let's say you have a 3% or a 4% growth rate in your GDP, or let's do an island. You have an island with 100 chickens and 100 gold coins. If 3 chickens are born and you add 12 gold coins to your supply, you're going to have, you know, what, 9 gold coins too many, and all the chickens are going to cost $1.90 instead of, a gold coin and 9 cents instead of what it cost before. And that's inflation. That's the fundamental of inflation. So right now we have, you know, when they were publishing it, from 2001 till now, they were growing at something like an 8 or 9% rate, you know, with a 3.5% growth of economy. You know, meanwhile, so that equals what, like, you know, 4 or 5% inflation. But the Fed is saying that there's only 2% inflation.
Now, as a quick one, you know, I had done this show on money, and the one thing that I noticed with it, and at least the Federal Reserve being the private bank, and just the fact that they're allowed to make all this, when I say make money from nothing, okay, there is no reserve now, so they're just printing up this money. What bothered me was we as citizens have to pay taxes to pay for that, you know, the interest on that money.
Yeah.
And the comedy I found was when I read the Federal Reserve Act, that Article 7, or the 7th section down, Part C, said that they don't have to pay any federal, state, or local taxes.
Oh, it's insane. They also can't be audited. It's actually a law that they can't be audited.
How do you like that? You know, we got a private bank issuing our currency, and they make trillions of dollars, yet they pay no taxes. Do you pay taxes?
I do.
I pay taxes too.
I don't like
I'm sure most
taxes.
of the people here in Boston pay taxes, let alone New York and maybe the other major metros, let alone even the little farmer guy gets squeezed for some form of tax. But the people that make our money from nothing pay no taxes. Ouch.
It's pretty crazy.
That hurts me.
The whole trust system, like, you know, the Carnegie Endowment, the Rockefeller Fund, was made just before income tax. They invented that structure so that all of the really super rich people could take their money, put it into a tax-free shelter so it doesn't get taxed, and then take that money and use it to pay for social control and manipulation.
That's pretty deep. Now we know it. See, maybe you guys are going to get the real story out of this. Aren't you glad you came to Faneuil Hall?
We are doing this as patriots to take back our country. We demand the truth. For every American citizen, this one is for you!
Awesome. It landed face up.